Hi everyone, it's me, Megan Hunt. I'm back with my second ever video. I did do a short earlier today. It's kind of a miniature version of this. I'm really excited about this. It is an experiment that I just kind of randomly came up with last night, I guess. And I just, I thought it'd be really fun to take this simple line work that I came up with and do 100 different versions. And that sounds kind of crazy, but the idea behind it is to try all different kinds of techniques and, different color palettes and, focus on line work with some and, work without line work with others and just kind of figure out what I want my signature style to be. I think I've dabbled a lot and done a lot of studying in the last few years. And while that's a good thing, I think I've gotten a little scattered because I've tried to be well rounded. I want to be able to do backgrounds, so I work on landscapes, and I want to be able to do animals, so I do pet portraits, and I want to be able to do people portraits, and I do realistic, and I do stylistic and illustrative, and I'm just kind of all over the place. And in some ways, that was intentional for a while. I was really trying to really, I guess, look at references and things to kind of help give my art somewhat of a realistic sense. But at the same time, I'm also learning how to kind of push it stylistically and kind of exaggerate the lines. I've really been working on characters' expressions lately, and it's amazing what subtle little differences can do to change a character. And one of the things I'm really excited about with this experiment is that I can take pretty much the same silhouette, the same kind of like billowy hair and like the big puffy sleeves, like the sort of Victorian look, and depending on the color palette and depending on the line work, I can really change the mood and how you feel when you look at it. So it's pretty amazing, I by doing like subtle differences, um, how much a piece can change. So I've actually done one other piece after this one, and I didn't end up filming that one, but I'll share it on my Instagram. Um, but it was a lot different. I didn't use line work in it. I used watercolor in a very loose way, and kind of made her look more ghostly, and kind of made her look almost like she wasn't quite all there, like she was kind of fading into the background a little. So it's really interesting because it's completely different than this one, but they're both based on the same initial line work. So obviously this one is lined. I used Micron pens, and lined this one with kind of like smaller details on the inside, and then like a heavier line with a larger micron on the outer edges. I really like the way this turned out. I was kind of trying to imagine like, what kinds of signature features that I wanted to bring out, and I've really been working on eyes lately, especially at this 3/4 view. It doesn't matter how many times I practice, I still struggle with the 3/4 view. Like straight on, I can deal with, I can definitely do side portraits, but for whatever reason, this pose is challenging for me. So, what better excuse to work on it? So I think having her in this pose will give me a chance to really get, proficient at being able to draw a character in this pose and have their eyes lined up correctly. And, because for whatever reason, I always get the eyes all wonky. And even in this one, you can kind of tell a little that they're still a little off. And so part of this experiment is to just keep improving and try all different kinds of, techniques with, watercolor and gouache. And I hope to do some with like, mixed media, like colored pencil. And I'd like to do a version with just inks as well. I just really want to try a lot of different things, but with this same basic line work, making subtle changes to the features, like I was saying before. So it's definitely going to be interesting, and I think it'll be fun in the end to do like a video where I just have all of them in a row, like in a reel. So I think that'll be fun to see them all together at once and see how different they are and how far I come in kind of pushing my art. This is on Strathmore paper that isn't necessarily like super high quality, but I bought it because I wanted something that I could work on without feeling like pressured and stressed out, because I do have some nicer 100% cotton Arches paper that I much prefer painting on, but this is great for practice. So I do find it a little bit frustrating sometimes because it kind of is difficult for me to get even washes on this paper. For whatever reason, it just tends to be kind of streaky and blotchy, and it's kind of frustrating. But I did get it to practice on, and that's the point of these. These are not necessarily paintings I'm doing to, sell or, to do anything with other than really practice. And maybe, who knows, maybe some of them will be good enough for me to sell, but that's kind of not the purpose. So it's still decent paper. It's watercolor paper, and it's acid free, so it's okay, but it's definitely not what I prefer. I've been kind of playing around with mixing watercolor and gouache recently. This piece I did all in watercolor. I did go in later, after I filmed this, and added just like shines on her eyes, like little highlights, and then I think a little bit on her lips. But other than that, it's all watercolor. But I think it'd be really fun to do one that's also all in gouache, or at least partially in gouache. I've been really having fun with the Himi gouache. As you saw, if you saw my last video, you would have seen that I was painting with the Himi gouache. It'd be really fun actually to do an oil version of this as well. I think that obviously that one would take a lot longer, but it would be really interesting to just get that, perspective on like how the different mediums can be used in different ways to create different moods, and I think I love watercolor, but I also really love oil painting, and how rich the colors are, and how the blendability of the colors is just a lot of fun. But obviously, because oils take a long time to dry, it's just a little bit less practical. I can pull out my watercolors and paint and then clean up within minutes. Whereas when I paint with oils, it's a lot of setup, it's a lot of cleanup, it's a lot of work. So I definitely kind of have been favoring watercolors a lot lately, and the gouache, because they're both really accessible and really easy to, clean up. And I just love experimenting with the different types of watercolor, and seeing them granulate, seeing the different types of pigments and how they behave, and kind of finding that balance between letting watercolor do what it wants to do, but also making it look intentional. It's just a lot of fun. And I think, painting this one, I had a ton of fun painting her hair, as you can see I'm working on right now. I really also like that lace collar that I did. It was definitely labor intensive to draw that all out, but I think the effect was really neat in the end. I think that it's just the right touch of detail to kind of make it stand out without being like over the top. I liked her hair quite a lot, but I think I wish I had done it a little less angular. There's a few pieces that just feel a little bit too, like, I guess angular is the only way I can think of to describe it. Like, I want it to have some angles for some interest, but I also want it to flow and be soft like hair instead of kind of like, especially that curl that's like out in front of her face on the side. I just feel like it's a weird shape. I'm not 100% happy with it. But again, this was the very first in a very long series of paintings. And there's definitely a lot of time for me to experiment and play with the hair and see, what I think looks best. And, I want it to look stylistic, but also at the same time realistic in a way. Like, I want it to be, something that visually you look at and it makes sense as far as, the sort of, what am I trying to say? Like this sort of depth, I guess, to kind of make it look like it's 3D and not just a flat image. And so I've definitely just been playing with shapes a lot and trying to figure out, how do I want hair to look? How do I want eyes to look? And I was kind of talking about that earlier. But anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But that's kind of what my videos are going to be for a little while until I kind of get to a point where, where I feel like I have a following and I can see what followers are enjoying the most. And at that point, I can kind of tailor videos to be, what people are enjoying. I'd really like to do some sketchbook tours in the future. I actually just recently just about finished a sketchbook. There's a few, pages that I want to finish a few things in. But it's interesting. I did something completely different this time. I took a bunch of inspiring images and stickers and just random stuff and glued it into random pages to kind of act as sort of a prompt. So it was actually a ton of fun to do that. It's something I've never done before. And I made it a messy sketchbook. I was like, you know what? I want no constraints. I don't want, to worry about being like perfect or having everything look a certain way and neat and tidy. I want this to be a messy sketchbook. I want it to be random and playful, and I just really had fun messing around with it and just, experimenting with different mediums and different styles. And yeah, it's kind of a mess, but it's a fun mess. And my next sketchbook is actually going to be a little bit of the opposite. Like, I want to work more intentionally. I'm working on storyboarding for a book that my partner and I are writing. It's a children's book, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's a really cute idea. I'm really excited to share about it. Right now, I'm going to kind of keep the details to myself because I want it to be a surprise. And once we, start kind of having more of that figured out, then I'm definitely going to share about it. It's pretty exciting. I've always wanted to write a book, and I kind of always had this imposter syndrome where I was like, who am I to write a book? Like, other people write books. I don't write books. But I feel like most, if not all, authors probably felt that way at some point. I feel like it would be pretty abnormal for someone to just be like, yeah, I'm going to be an author and not question it for even a moment. I think even the masters, the people who, make it look effortless, at some point they've dealt with self-doubt and frustrations and imposter syndrome. And, I've realized lately that a lot of limitations that I thought that I had were self-imposed. I was making assumptions that I was unable to do something and then just not trying. That's kind of why I jumped into doing this YouTube channel. It's still wild to me. I'm like, I told my kids are gamers. I'm like, I'm a YouTuber, guys. I'm such a dork. But it's funny because, it's another thing that I'm like, oh, other people do successful YouTube channels. Like, who am I to think that I'm going to have a successful YouTube channel? But why not? I love seeing other artists and listening to them chat while they're doing their art. And I love hearing their thoughts and their struggles and their triumphs. I love hearing the different things that they do to get through artist block, just all the ideas and information that, the other artists share. It's really inspiring to me. And I'm hoping that as I learn how to create these videos, that I can do the same for other people, that I can create videos that have value and to kind of share my thoughts and ideas and the things that I'm doing to try and push myself to be a better artist. I really want to inspire other people to do art because I really believe that it's a skill. It's not a talent I was born with. I believe me, I will definitely have to share some of my old artwork. I definitely have come a very long way, and it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of practice. And I really truly believe that if you put time into it and you as long as it's something you enjoy and you love it, then just keep doing it. Keep drawing, keep painting. It's so important to not worry about like what other people think and just enjoy creating. Yeah, anyway, I'm kind of babbling again, but whoops, my phone is making noise. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's see. I've got about 10 minutes left of this. As you can see, I'm just kind of like adding in the details at this point. Kind of trying to push the shading a little bit. Originally, I wanted her hair to be more of a brownish, almost like a purple, but like a brownish purple, if that makes any sense. And instead it kind of turned out gray, which, honestly, I'm not mad about. I think even though it didn't turn out quite what I was originally aiming for, I think that it was really pretty. I think it's a pretty color, and I like the sort of muted grayish blue tones in this one. And I had fun with the background. It's really simple, just like a sliver of a moon. But the way that I kind of did it and faded it out at the edges, as you'll kind of see, it just, I don't know, it was just satisfying to look at. I really love her outfit. I love the big poofy sleeve. That sort of era, like, I love, Victorian costumes, and I also love Edwardian. costumes or, clothing. So playing around with that sort of era is a lot of fun for me. I think it'd be fun too to do one that's more of like a 20s style. It's amazing how clothing changed very rapidly. And I guess it honestly it still is, but if you look back to like the 1900s and then to the 1920s, it's amazing how much clothing changed in that period of time, like just drastically. But I love all the different clothing from those time periods. I also really love, 40s and 50s clothing. Honestly, I think I love all the different eras, but I think probably what I enjoy most aesthetically is kind of this Victorian era with like the big poofy hair and the poofy sleeves and corsets and the bustles, and I don't know why, but I just think they're really fun to draw. It's really enjoyable. It's just for whatever reason just kind of makes me happy to paint it. I've been working on some other character designs and trying to kind of mix up different eras, and it's been kind of fun. I've definitely been playing around a lot recently with like costuming and trying to push the outfits of the characters that I create to kind of make them stand out and look unique, and to kind of tell a story with how they're dressed. You can kind of look at their expression and the color of their clothing and how they look and kind of tell, you feel like you know a little bit about that person just looking at them. And that's kind of what I'm really focusing on recently, is really trying to push my character development and just, push my skills and keep growing and not stagnate. So I feel like I've made a lot of good progress recently. I've definitely stepped out of my comfort zone. Definitely starting this. I keep saying definitely. I'm sorry. I'm eventually going to get better at not rambling, but public speaking is not my strong suit, so I'm doing my best. But yeah, I'm definitely I am going to get better at this as time goes on, and I'm going to learn how to make these videos, more enjoyable and edit them more effectively. And, I was just reading today about like thumbnailing, and it's just a lot, it's a lot to learn. And I was like, I'm just going to jump in. I'm just going to do it, even though I'm scared, and put myself out there and hopefully inspire other people while I'm doing it. So looks like I only have about a few minutes left. There isn't a whole lot more to say about this one. I think it'll be fun again to show the next one that I did after this. Again, I didn't film that one, so you'll have to go to my Instagram or my Facebook to see that. And then I actually started a third one, and I was working on the line work for it, and I'm really excited about the third one too. It's really neat. It's very similar to this one as far as the style goes, but I gave her a monocle and kind of went with more of like a steampunk vibe. So I'm pretty excited to paint that one. I'm not exactly sure yet on the color palette and that sort of thing. It's just in black and white still. It's just waiting to be painted. I do plan on filming that one, so definitely stay tuned. And I really hope that you all enjoy this and have fun, while I use this experiment to push my art skills, and hopefully it'll be fun to witness. And I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I appreciate the support so much. I know that, all artists say that, but we really mean it. Um, Beyond, buying products from an artist, one of the best things you can do is just engage with us and share our posts and interact. And that means so much. Um, it gives me the ability to keep making art, and it's inspiring to be able to help other people out there and connect with other artists and learn and grow together. So, yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Um, don't dip your paintbrush in your drink, because I definitely did that several times. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.